Hello and welcome to this episode of the Repurpose for Your Next Chapter podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing about a particular challenge I have noticed with many aspiring, emerging, developing coaches, speakers, and that includes me. This particular thing kept me stuck in my business for 5 years. It wasn't until this year that I finally, one, identified that this was one thing keeping me stuck, and two, then how to get over it. So what's this thing, you might be asking? Here it is. So many new speakers and coaches or people who have messages for the world. I'm going to call us all messengers for the purpose of this podcast. So messengers, I've noticed, tend to do one or maybe even both of these things. One, they tend to describe what they do in very flowery cliches. And that includes me. For many years, I described what I did as helping women to step into their next chapter. What does next chapter mean? One, next chapter is a phrase used by so many coaches. It's used by so many people to mean so many different things. So that would have been unclear to my ideal audience, my ideal client, exactly who I was talking about and how I was helping her, helping you step into your next chapter. Okay, with what? With my health, with my wealth, with my relationships, with my career. How? The second thing that I notice that a lot of new and developing speakers do is that we use coaching language. So we say things like, I am a self-identity coach. I am a self-empowerment coach. I am an authenticity coach. What does this mean? What does this mean to the average person on the street? So if you went to a regular street in a regular neighborhood, you walked in, you selected 10 people, and you said to them, would you like to speak to an identity coach? They'd be like, pardon, sorry, who? I imagine. It's not a phrase, it's not a universally understood phrase. It makes sense in the coaching world that I know exactly what that is. But I dare say that the average person doesn't. Now, you may have heard the marketing piece of advice that suggests that when you speak, one, it's very important to be very clear, very simple, very clear, not sexy in language, and also to speak to people like we're speaking to a 12-year-old. So speak like you're speaking to a 12-year-old. If a 12-year-old is not likely to understand it, then don't say it. I often use the analogy of the front door. I like to think of what I do as the front door, and I invite my clients to think of what they do as the front door. What would you put on your front door? So like I said a minute ago, I used to say, I help you step into your next chapter. It wasn't until this year that I finally got to grips, if you like, after working with various clients over the last 5 years and realizing that every single one of my clients, bar none, every one of them wanted to create some kind of entrepreneurial endeavor, i.e., a business. Whether that business was around helping people to look better physically or helping young people to identify great careers or helping women get over loss. Every single one of my clients came to me to help her, to support her in one way or another to create her business, whether it was by finding her message, finding her voice, identifying, developing her movement, but it was all heading towards business. So now I say that my mission, what I do is to help professional women who have been in long-term careers to create a speaking and coaching platform. And that platform is a business, it's a movement, it's something entrepreneurial. But as I said, that took me 5 years. So if this is you, no shade. You're in good company. No judgment. No judgment whatsoever. This is a space where we come, we learn, and we grow. Now, I know somebody, I have a friend who was speaking to me a year or so ago, and she told me about how she walked into a place of work where she'd been working for 22 years. She'd been working there for 22 years. She walked into work. She was called into an office. She held a senior position at her place of work, a global organization. She was called into an office as soon as she stepped into her workplace, and she was released. She was let go. She was told that her services were no longer required. And that what she had to do right there and then was to walk downstairs to the basement of the building, to the security office, to pick up her personal belongings, hand in her pass to the building, and go and leave same day, within 5 minutes of walking into the office. Now, when she was telling me this story, I asked her, I said, how did you feel when she told me this story? I said, how did you feel? And she said, honestly, Ene, I was hopping mad. She said, I'd given them 22 of the best years of my life. She said, I had worked day and night. She said, Ene, I had missed school plays. I had missed sports days. I had missed birthdays. I had missed anniversaries. I had missed doing special things with my children. I'd missed special occasions. I'd missed the mundane, everyday activities that the average parent gets to do with their children. I had left for work early. I had come home late. I had cut holidays, vacations short for my job, for this organization. And which is how they tell me thank you, by telling me to go downstairs to the basement to pick up my belongings in a box and hand in my pass. This is how they tell me thank you. And so I said, what do you want to do now? And she said, that's actually the thing. She says, I don't know. I feel lost. I feel trapped. I feel like I am living some kind of Groundhog Day. Every day I wake up, I relive this situation every day in my head. And I don't know who I am anymore, Ene. She said, I don't know who I am anymore because I had made that job my life. So the first thing I need to do is actually to just go back and find out who I am and what I want to do with my life. Now, you could argue that by working with her, what I help her identify and create is the next chapter of her life. And it is. But what she's looking for right now is somebody, first of all, to help her process her loss and then help her find that thing that she wants to do next. Now, is it the next chapter of her life? Yes, it is. But if I said to her, I help you find the next chapter of her life, that may or may not land. But if I said to her, I help you process through and overcome an unplanned loss, an unplanned crisis, a setback, a devastation, despair, loss, grief, something that completely blindsided you, that you didn't see coming in your life, and now you're looking to make sense of it and find out who you are beneath all that and create what you want to do with the next step of your life. That would make sense to her. And that, now, here's the thing. That message, those words would apply whether it's a job loss, It would apply whether it's a divorce. It would apply whether it's some kind of bereavement. It would apply whether it's a financial loss. It would apply whether it's a business loss. What's my point? Any unplanned loss that knocks you down, that's devastating, that you didn't see coming, that has set you back, and you're wondering, what do I do with my life now? Those are the words that she used. Those are the same words that would resonate with her and would then attract her. Now, when she comes into my program, if I did work with such a person, would we do some self-identity work? You best believe we would. Would we do some kind of self-empowerment work? Best believe we would. But if I said to her, I'm going to help you with some self-identity, she's likely to say to me, get out of my way. You have no idea what I'm dealing with now. What's my point? You may have heard the marketing adage, sell them what they want, give them what they need. Sell them what they want, give them what they need. What does that mean? It means give them the pill, or sell them even the pill to the headache that they have. Sell them the pill to the headache that they have. And in that pill, put what they need. Let me explain even further. Imagine if you came to me and said to me, Ene, I have a headache. Ene, I have a severe headache. I can't get rid of this thing. And I said to you, oh, okay, I've got some paracetamol. Would you like some? Unless you're allergic or for some reason you're not able to take paracetamol, chances are you'll say to me, yes. Even if you didn't know what paracetamol was, you'd say, is that something that will help me get rid of this headache? Would it relieve the headache that I have? And I would say, yes. And you would take that paracetamol and hopefully feel better. What you're not likely to say to me is, what's inside it? How many grams of this and how many grams of that? No, you would say, how many do I take? 1 or 2? I'd say 2. You'd be like, fine, you pop the pills. Right? So you have a headache. I've given you what you want, but inside the paracetamol is what you need to get better. But what I've given you is relief from your headache. I hope that makes sense. So what that means is somebody who is going through loss, back to that example that we used earlier, somebody who's going through loss, feeling anger, despair, devastation, grief, looking for what they will do with their life after this. Do they need self-identity work? The answer is yes. But what they want is relief from the pain, relief from the feelings of loss, relief from the feelings of grief, release from the feelings of devastation, release from the feeling of frustration, of overwhelmment, of entrapment, and entrapment of not being sure of what to do with this situation. Will helping her do some excavation work help her? Yes. But right now, she's not asking for excavation work. So you may say, all right, Ene, but how do I then find the words to use? I'm glad you asked. One way is to ask, how do you feel? How do you feel is where she is right now. That's what we call her pain points or her hell. And as she says that, you then say, What would you like? And she'll then proceed to describe her heaven, her desires. But what I'd like right now, Ene, is to make sense of all of this. What I'd like right now is to understand how I can get back my life. What I'd like now is to understand how I can find joy again. What I'd like now is to understand how I can find something that gives me joy and fulfillment in my life and helps me to get over the anger, the hurt that I feel towards that person, towards those people, to give me relief, to give me peace so I can live again. I'm just making up those words. But you will speak to them and find out the words that they use. And guess what? Those are the same words that you give back to them. The answer is actually in the question, as they say. The answer is in the question. They have the problem and they have the solution. Your job is to help them bridge the gap between the problem and the solution. But trust that they have both. And if you help them to find the language that describes both, and you give them that language back to them, they'll say to you, "How did you know?" And you'd be like, "You just told me. You told me." And it's interesting because it makes me this is exactly what we do. This is exactly what we do in my VIP day, in my VIP experience. I have 4 VIP days. Did I mention that it's my birthday this month? It's my birthday month. And as we come to the end of the year, and because it's my birthday month, 4 days between now and the end of the year, I'll be hosting VIP sessions at the Landmark Hotel, ideally in person. They can be done virtually, just me and you, bespoke, tailored around your message, how to craft your message, how to craft your keynote, how to be magnetic on stage, and how to create your signature offer, whether that's a workshop, a retreat, a program that will help you the most in 2026. So do reach out. There'll be links in the show notes below. Reach out if you would like to claim, if you think that you're a great fit to claim one of those spots. So back to what we're talking about. You will get marketing gold, marketing language gold, using the same language, the same words that your ideal client uses to describe how she's feeling, what she's going through, and what her desires are. And as I said before, one of the crucial things that you can do is to speak in the language of a 12-year-old. Not complicated. Don't be sexy. Don't try to be sexy. Don't try to be cute. Just be clear and be simple and use their words as much as possible back to them. And also remember the analogy of the front door. Your front door is how you describe what you do. Make it very simple. Make it very clear. Make it the ibuprofen. Make it the Panadol. And once they come into your house, you best believe that your living room is the self-identity room. Your dining room is the self-empowerment room. Your kitchen could be the authenticity room. Will they do all those things? Oh, trust and believe that they will. But also believe that's not the language that you will use to attract them, because that's not language that they necessarily would identify with. It's not language that they would necessarily agree with. Is it what they need? Absolutely. Is it what they want? Not so likely. So I'm sure that okay, let me stop here. I'm going to script this out because I don't know. And at this stage, to be honest with you, I'd love to hear what you take away from this. I'd love to hear what language you're using before and what language you will start to use now. So let me give you an example from my personal business, because I did share that this also applied to me. I used to talk about your next chapter, helping you with your next chapter. What's your next chapter? It wasn't until I, as I said, spoke to my clients and I realized that 100% of them, 100% are building a speaking and coaching business. So now what I say is I help professional women who have been in a long-term career to take their life experience and from it create, build, grow a speaking and coaching business. Simple. Professional women who have been in a long-term career to use their life experience to build a speaking and coaching business. It's not sexy. It's not cute, but it's clear. I hope this has been of value to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Details of the VIP day in the show notes below. Bye for now.